A cold wind swept across Fort Branson as Lieutenant Emily Carter stepped through the heavy steel doors of the training compound. She had the calmness of someone who had survived worse than the weather. War zones, covert missions, ambushes, nights where the world almost ended. But today wasn't about combat. Today was about proving a point inside a room full of men who didn't know who she truly was. Emily, with her sharp jawline, piercing gray eyes, and posture that could silence a room, walked toward the administrative building where the special assessment briefing was being held. Most of the officers around her didn't recognize her. They weren't supposed to. Her file had been sealed under a provisional alias, and her uniform had no name tag. The commanders wanted to know how their senior officers treated new recruits, especially ones they believed were outsiders. Emily volunteered for this mission because she knew exactly how untested authority behaved arrogantly, loudly, and stupidly. Inside the briefing hall stood Captain Rick Donovan, a tall, loudmouthed officer known for his swagger more than his performance. Beside him were two of his loyal men, Lieutenant Jackson Hale, a muscular brute who lived for validation, and Sergeant Matt Reeves, the type who smirked at everything as if he had already won. They believed Emily was just another transfer who had requested entry into the elite tactical leadership program. Captain Donovan scanned her from head to toe, clearly unimpressed. "You're the applicant?" he asked with disbelief dripping from every word. "Yes, sir," Emily replied calmly, hand behind her back. "You don't look like much," Jackson muttered loud enough for her to hear. Emily didn't respond. She'd heard worse from worse men in places where silence was the only armor. Donovan circled around her. "You're supposed to lead advanced tactical units." "You," he chuckled. "Did your daddy pull strings for you, or did you just walk in hoping we're desperate for diversity points?" Reeves laughed as if it were the funniest thing he'd heard all morning. Emily kept her eyes ahead. "Sir, I'm here to complete the assessment. Nothing more." "Oh, you'll complete something," Jackson mumbled with a grin. Donovan stopped in front of her. "Before we begin, we need to know if you can follow orders." He nodded, tore her uniform. "Take off your jacket." Emily didn't move. "Is that part of the assessment, sir?" "It is now," Donovan replied smugly. Emily watched him for a long second. She could knock him unconscious in 3 moves, but she breathed slowly. This wasn't a mission. Donovan raised his voice. "You deaf, take off your uniform. You don't deserve to wear it until you prove you're worth it." A silence fell across the hall. Even the other officers who weren't part of this humiliation attempt turned to watch. That's when Emily smirked, a small sharp curve of the lips that made Donovan's confidence falter. "Sir," she said softly, "you just told a Navy SEAL to strip." Every man froze. "What?" Donovan blinked. Emily removed her jacket slowly, not in shame, but with the deliberate grace of someone unveiling a weapon. Underneath on her left shoulder, tattooed clearly and unmistakably, was the trident, the emblem of the U.S. Navy SEALs. Reeves' jaw dropped. Jackson took a half step back. Emily looked directly into Donovan's suddenly pale face. "You want to see if I can follow orders?" "I've taken orders under enemy fire while dragging wounded teammates through burning debris. I've followed orders at 3 a.m. in the middle of the Pacific during operations. You will never have clearance to know. So, if you want to continue this performance, Captain, I'll gladly play along, but I suggest you decide fast before you embarrass yourself further." Donovan stumbled. "Why, you're a SEAL. Team 7-8 years." She crossed her arms. "Anything else you wanted to take off, sir?" The room went dead silent. Even a ventilation seemed to stop humming. Donovan swallowed hard. Suddenly, the man who barked orders at everyone couldn't make a sound. Emily put her jacket back on flawlessly, tightening the collar as she stared him down. "Now, if the assessment is legitimate, I'd like to begin. If it's not, I'd like you to explain to Central Command why you ordered a Navy SEAL to undress in front of your officers." This time, nobody laughed. Nobody smirked, and certainly nobody dared speak. Donovan attempted to regain composure. "Let's move to the next part of the evaluation." Emily stepped forward. "Perfect. Lead the way, Captain." The group moved outside to the training grounds. Emily could feel eyes on her. Some shocked, others impressed, a few suddenly very, very intimidated. The first test was a timed obstacle course, usually completed in around 3 minutes by average trainees. Donovan whispered to Jackson, "Make sure she knows her place." Emily overheard. She always overheard. The whistle blew. She launched forward, her boots pounding the dirt with precision. She scaled the first wall faster than any trainee had in months, landed in a flawless roll, sprinted through the tire run, and vaulted over the hurdles like it was basic warm-up. Off to the side, Reeves muttered, "Holy, she's fast." Donovan snapped, "Shut up. She's trying to show off." Emily swung across the rope climb, avoiding the knots with the ease of muscle memory. At the top, she scanned the course for potential sabotage. Donovan had the type of ego that didn't accept humiliation quietly, and there it was. Jackson standing near the mud pit, ready to shove a metal bar into her path at a S. She approached the pit at full speed. Jackson stepped forward, smirking with his bar hidden low. Emily stopped instantly, so fast her boots skidded across dirt. Jackson stumbled, surprised she halted in time. She leaned in. "Move," she said quietly. "Or what?" Emily didn't answer with words. Her hand snapped out, gripping the bar, twisting it out of his grip in one fluid motion. Before Jackson even processed what happened, Emily tossed the bar aside, sprinted again, slid through the mud pit, and crossed the finish line with a time that shattered the base record. The instructor watching the course stared at the stopwatch in disbelief. 2 minutes 16 seconds. "That's impossible. Not for a SEAL," Emily replied. Donovan looked like he had swallowed a cactus. "Let's move to firearms." On the range, Donovan expected her to miss, to fumble, to do anything that would make her look average. She didn't. With standard-issue rifle in hand, Emily hit every moving target, center shot, without pausing to ream. She transitioned to the pistol with the smoothness of someone who trained until their muscles obeyed without thought. She even performed a rapid 3-shot grouping that landed so tight the instructor said nothing. He just stared at the paper target speechless. Reeves whispered to Jackson, "We're screwed." "No," Jackson muttered. "She's showing off. Donovan won't let this slide." But Donovan was slowly realizing something. Emily Carter wasn't showing off. She was simply operating at her normal level. The final assessment was hand-to-hand sparring. Donovan, determined to regain dignity, announced, "You'll fight Jackson. He's one of our strongest." Emily walked into the mat calmly. Jackson grinned. "Try not to break your nails." Emily only tightened her ponytail. The match began. Jackson charged like a bull. Emily sidestepped, grabbed his arm, twisted, and sent him crashing onto the mat in less than 2 seconds. The room erupted in gasps. Jackson got up humiliated. "You lucky." He lunged. Again, Emily ducked, spun, and pinned him with her knee on his lower spine, his arm secured in a perfect joint lock. "Tap," she warned. "Never." A tiny shift of pressure. Okay. Jackson slapped the mat wildly. She let go and stood. Assessment complete. Donovan's face was red with anger, embarrassment, and something else. Fear. Emily approached him slowly. "Captain Donovan, do you treat all candidates this way, or was it because you assumed I was weak?" Donovan had no answer. "Good," she said. "Then my mission here is done." He blinked. "Your mission." Emily pulled out a sealed envelope and handed it to him. "Direct orders from Rear Admiral Lewis. Congratulations, Captain. You just failed a leadership integrity test. Your treatment toward new personnel will be reviewed by higher command, effective immediately. Your training authority is suspended until the investigation is complete." The 3 officers went pale. You set us up," Reeves protested. "No," Emily said firmly. "You set yourselves up. I just followed orders." Donovan tried to salvage dignity. "Wait, this can be reconsidered." "No, it can't." She turned and addressed the entire room. "For those of you who want to serve with integrity, with discipline, with actual leadership, I hope today showed you what it means to respect every soldier, no matter what uniform they're wearing. Strength is earned, respect is earned, but cruelty that exposes weakness." The officers nodded silently. Emily walked toward the exit, each step steady and controlled. Before leaving, she paused at the doorway. "And gentlemen," she added without looking back, "next time you ask someone to strip, at least make sure you know who you're talking to." The room exhaled, a mixture of fear, awe, and the sudden realization that they had messed with the wrong woman. As Emily stepped outside into the cold air, she pulled out her phone and recorded a final message for her confidential report. "Mission complete," she said. They failed, but somewhere inside, she hoped at least a few of those officers learned something. That leadership wasn't about barking orders. It was about earning trust, respect, and the right to lead others in a danger. Her ride arrived. A black SUV driven by a junior ensign who saluted as she approached. "Ma'am, everything good?" Emily smirked again, better than expected. As the SUV drove away, the officers inside the building remained silent. Donovan stared at the sealed letter, knowing his career just hit a wall he couldn't climb. Emily Carter, Navy SEAL, didn't look back because people like her didn't need validation. They created it. Before ending the video, say if you enjoyed this story, make sure you subscribe to Grow for Justice. Tell me in the comments where are you watching.